Welcome back people. Today in this tutorial we will see about classes in Python. So classes are extremely important in programming and they are not specific to Python. In fact, a lot of other programming languages do support the notation of classes. We use classes to define new types. So far we learnt about the basic types such as numbers, string, booleans and some other complex type like list, tuple and dictionaries. While these types are extremely useful, they cannot be used to model complex concepts. For example, think of the concept of a shopping cart. The shopping cart does not belong to basic or a complex data type. So we use classes to define new types to model real concepts. Now in this tutorial, I will show you how to define a new type called point, and this new type is going to have methods for working with point. But before that, we will look at an example to understand the concept of classes better. So let's say a vehicle is a class, then a car is an object. So vehicle denotes all type of vehicles, say it a car, a train, a ship, or an airplane. Doesn't matter. They all belong to a single class named vehicle. But a car is more specific. It is one type of vehicle that moves in the land. So to be more accurate, class can be a template of what an vehicle is, but with an object that is a car, it has certain attributes and certain behaviors. Like it has four wheels, can move at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. This is one instance of a class. That is, it is one instance of the vehicle class. Similarly, uh, we can also create another instance. Let's say that is a train. A train is also a vehicle and it moves at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. So we have multiple instances of the same class. A class has state, attribute, and behavior. In this case of the class vehicle, we have state, attribute, and behavior. The state, for the first instance, the state is a car, and for the second instance, state is train. So it defines what the object denotes. So next, the attributes of a car are its color may be red, model is S190, and brand is Hello Motors. So these are the attributes of the object car and the class vehicle. So a train also has its own attributes. The color is blue, model is Ship 0958, and a brand is Ocean Queen. You can see that all the attributes are the same, but the values differ between the car and the train. Similarly, a behavior or methods, it can move at 100 kilometers per hour and can move only on road. But for the train, moves at a speed of 150 kilometer per hour and can move only in tracks. Okay, sorry, this is track. So even here, the movement and the method by which it moves are the same. That is, the behavior are the same, but the values is different. 100 kilometers and 150 kilometers road and track. So I guess you would have understood what a class is from this example. Let's get into coding. So as I said before, we are going to define a new type called point, and this new type is going to have methods for working with point. So we already know when we type the name of the object and type a dot, you will see all the methods that are available for that particular object. Similar to this, we are going to create a new type called point. This is going to have its own methods like move, draw, etc. So what we note here is we use capital letter to denote the name of a name of a class. But we know that for variables and functions, we always use lowercase letters and underscore if there are multiple words. Naming classes, we use camel casing or otherwise called as Pascal naming convention. This is if you have more than one word, say point name, then you have to Make the first letter of both the words as uppercase. See, P and N are in uppercase, other words, other letters are in lowercase. This is how you name a class. Now we add a colon at the end, which means all the functions that we define within the block belong to point. Now note that we have a keyword called self inside the method. This represents the instance of a class. We will study in detail about this as we go deeper into the course. But for now, remember self represents the instance of a class. So as we already said, the class point is a new type. And for this new type, we will create a new object. So how do we create an object for the class? This is how. So first we call the class just like we call a function with a parenthesis at the end, and we pass this value to a variable called point1. This variable is now an object of the class point1. I mean point. So what is an object? An object is an instance of a class. To understand better, we will think of an instance as if a photocopy of the data type. Any value that we declare to an object instance gets stored as attributes. So what are the attributes? Attributes are similar to variables, and this belongs only to a particular instance or an object and not to the class. Just like if we change anything in a photocopy, it does not affect the original data. So class simply define the blueprint or the template to creating an object, and objects are the actual instances based on the blueprint. So we could have tens and hundreds of point objects. So to create an object, we first type the name of our class and call it like a function. This creates a new object of the class and return it. Now we can store the object in a variable as we did here. Now when we use a dot operator, we will see the methods that belong to this particular object point1. Since point1 is an object of the class point and point class has move and draw as methods, we have draw and move as methods available for point1 also. So a class can have many methods and attributes. As we already said, methods are like functions and attributes are like variables, but they are specific to a particular object. So let's get into an example now. Let's say point1 dot x, which is equal to 51. Now let's create another point2. So here x is an attribute and it belongs to a point object. We also have another point object called point2. So let's try to print point2 dot x and run the program. So we get an error. Point object has no attribute x. This is because, as we already said, point x is an attribute of the object point1. It does not belong to the class itself. So this belongs, I mean, the scope of x is only within the object point1. The error is because we did not define any attribute called x for point2 object. The two objects are completely different. So what you have to remember here is we can define an attribute anywhere in our program. So if we define a attribute x here, let's say, now if we run the program, we will see 23 as an output, and there is no error because now we have defined x for point2 object. We can also print, we can also call point2 dot draw. Now you get draw as output along with 23. So I hope you would have understood what is a class and about attributes and behaviors, which are also known as methods. So thank you for watching the video. Do like, share and subscribe to Supporting Tech.